Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is TheBird. This is the first time you are coming to my channel. You are most welcome. Please do not forget to click that subscribe button. Please, I'm gonna really appreciate it if you do that. Turn on post notifications so you know when I drop a new video. Give this video a thumbs up and share this video with everybody that will be interested in the content that you're going to be watching today. So guys, I know I've been off for like 2 weeks now, and honestly I've just not really been in a good place. If you saw my last community post, I spoke a little about it. I was not in a really good space, so I couldn't really create content. I even have videos I'm supposed to be editing and posting, but just not in the right space. You know, when you're editing and it's not coming out the way you want it, everything is just going to look rubbish basically. So, and I do not want to give you guys that kind of content, so I just thought, you know what, I am going to take my time, take a break, and when I'm ready I'm going to come back to YouTube and I'm going to give you guys all the content. So guys, Elesin Oba brought me out of my comfort space, out of my zone, and I am back here to give you guys a day up. Yes guys, if you are watching this video, it means that you are interested in Elesin Oba the review. So please sit back, relax, and grab a popcorn. To my returning subscribers, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for sticking with me every single time. And if you're new here we do a lot of movie reviews, banter, special vlogs, and you get to know me better. I mean, all the content, you get it. Even if you're not interested in movie review, you see a part of my content that interests you, and you're gonna be stuck basically. That's all. Now, before we get into the movie, I would like to give you guys a little insight as to what Elesin Oba is. It's an adaptation of one of Wole Soyinka's movie. If you have, heard of literature before in your life or anything, you've heard the name Wole Soyinka before. He is a Nobel Prize winner and he's one of the best literary arts that we have ever seen in Nigeria. So in Africa, basically. So he has written this book, Death and the King's Horseman, and it has been adapted into a play, The King Horseman, which is Elesin Oba. The story of, the journey of life, the journey of man. We have birth, we have death, and we have the afterlife. So in the Yoruba kingdom, the Oyo Yoruba kingdom in the 1940s, during that era, basically, when the king dies, there's always, the Elesin Oba, the king's horseman, that follows him through death. Now, the king's horseman actually follows the king all through his life, even to the afterlife. When the king is in his prime and is ruling, the Elesin Oba also, enjoys the benefits of being the king's horseman. So even his afterlife, he is supposed to follow the king through all that passage, and they say that helps the king to rest in peace and brings solace onto the land, and the land can live a fruitful and prosperous life afterwards. But if the king is not, if there's no passage for the king to go and rest in the afterlife, that means that the king is going to be wandering around earth, and basically the Elesin Oba is the one that is supposed to open the rite of passage for the king. So his ritual death is what is spoken about in Elesin Oba, and how it went down. So I should put this out there that personally I did not read the book. I did not read the play, but I have read plays, and I know when I see a stage play, and I know when I see something that's supposed to be a screenplay. So yeah, I kind of had like an insight as to what to expect of the movie. But I was not going to, be all that, oh, okay, this is what I'm expecting to see, and I'm just going to zero my mind and not, be open to whatever I get to watch. So yeah, I was, I had expectations, and I'm just going to tell you if it met my expectations, what is in the story, how it all went down, and basically everything that you need to know about Elesin Oba. So the story of Elesin Oba, the king dies 30 days before Elesin Oba, the movie, begins. And we see the king's horseman is living his best life. He's got women, he's enjoying it. He goes to the market, meets with the market women, enjoys his last day. It says it's his last day on earth, so he wants to enjoy it to the fullest, experience everything for the last time. And then while he's in the market, while he's talking to the women and the alloja and everybody, he just sights this beautiful woman from afar, and he says, what? Okay, as his last wish, before he goes to the afterlife, he wants to marry her. Baba, you're supposed to go and die tonight. Why do you want to marry another woman? And the alloja is like, Elesin Oba, this thing that you're about to do, Hope you know that you're wasting time. Hope you know that you're supposed to just, go through this rite of passage and everything. He says he understands, he just wants one last wish, yada yada. And she says, this thing you're about to do, if it comes back and bites you in the ass, don't say I did not tell you. By the way, the lady that Elesin Oba gets attracted to has already been betrothed to Iyaloja's son. But because he's the king's horseman, she allows the lady to marry Elesin Oba. How that is going on, we also get to see the white counterparts that were in the Oyo kingdom at the time. They were the district officers. You know how the white people were in the 1940s. So they heard about Elesin Oba killing himself, as they said it in them. Like, why would somebody want to commit suicide because the king dies? Why would he want to kill himself? So they're like, no, they're not going to let that happen. They're going to disrupt the process. Elesin Oba gets arrested, is put in jail. On another end, we see Elesin Oba's son, who he has told these white people that, why are you trying to disrupt our culture? This is none of your business. Let us do our thing while you do your thing. You people legit kill millions and thousands and hundreds of people all the time. But you say one man's death is what you want to stop. That's what you think is barbaric. But you killing thousands of people is not barbaric to you. So he tried to stop the whole process, but his father has already been jailed. Then he later on sacrifices himself so that the whole process can be complete. Now that's basically his story, right? And eventually Elesin Oba kills himself after his son has been sacrificed. His son sacrifices himself, and then out of pain and disappointment and anger and whatever, he kills himself too. And that is basically all the story you are going to be watching in Elesin Oba. So let me now give you a breakdown of what I think about this movie. Let's talk about cast first. Odunlade Adekola plays Elesin Oba. Shaffy Bello plays Iyaloja. Omowunmi Dada is the pretty lady that he gets to marry at the end. Deyemi Okanlawon is Elesin Oba's son. Who else? Jide Kosoko and Ajala said they are the wannabe, African women that they basically accepted colonialism, and they speak fancy English and all of that stuff. Brymo Olawale played the Olowinyo in the movie. He's supposed to be Elesin Oba. So if you think you cannot do this thing, I'm going to comfort you to do it, or I'm going to help you, I'm going to assist you. If you want me to follow you through that, I am here for you. I am basically your servant till whatever, anything you want me to do, basically I will do for you. That's who he was. And then there's just the general cast also. So for their acting, I think each character did pretty good. I'm not even going to lie. I genuinely enjoyed watching. As much as many people didn't get to speak so much, like he got like two scenes where he spoke a lot, right? Those were just two scenes, and I enjoyed watching those two scenes, especially the scene with Jane, where he was telling her about how they think that we are the barbaric ones. They are also barbaric. They think they can just come and use our costumes, just defile our cultural representations and things we believe in, and they just think that they are superior to everybody else because they have education, they have whatnot. The conversation between both of them was very enlightening. It was very interesting. I enjoyed watching that. The conversation between Iyaloja and Elesin Oba at the end, I loved it. The charisma that Shaffy Bello brought into that character, I enjoyed it. It was absolutely lovely to see. Omowunmi Dada, she didn't really get to speak. She didn't say anything throughout the movie. Maybe just like one or two things, basically. But the smiles where it was needed, the tears where it was needed, the crying where it was needed. Yeah, body language was there for her. Odunlade Adekola played an excellent role. He was the main character in this movie, and I feel like he definitely, killed his role also. Yeah, basically, Jide Kosoko was also in the movie. I didn't really like his character, to be fair. I feel like he could have done better. The whole matching thing, it was just off for me. But yeah, whatever. And I feel like maybe they could have used somebody younger for that role, but it really didn't matter, Sha. He just, he played it, but it wasn't an excellent performance. That's what I think, though. Yeah, I think I've pretty mentioned everybody, the cast, their acting. The dialogue wasn't so bad. It was okay. I think there could have been more which would have given in depth to, these characters and these practices. Because if you're making a film, if it was a stage play, to watch a stage play, I know that okay, I am going to be feeling it a lot of things for myself because it is a stage play. When I'm watching a screenplay, I want more, I want more acting, I want more dialogue, I want more in-depth storyline. So I think they didn't really get that in the movie. There was depth to some of these dialogues, but it could have been better. Yeah, I think I've talked about the characters, I've talked about dialogue. Oh, the setting was good. The setting was really good. Yeah, and I also loved, see guys, if there is one thing that kept me hooked from beginning to end, guys, from beginning to end, it was the orchestra. Music, guys, music, pure Yoruba music. See, if you've ever experienced a stage play or you've seen theater art students perform before and you've seen them give that music, you would understand what it means when they're acting a cultural play and it has music at every scene, guys, music. And I think that is one thing they deployed so well. It was perfect. I cannot even lie. It was perfect. I loved everything that had music. Like anytime those orchestra came up, I'm like, yes, bring it on, bring it on. I want all of it. Guys, that was one thing that kept me hooked all through. One thing I really enjoyed, it was the music. The music was great. The setting was good because it was giving Yoruba epic kind of story. The costume was good. I like the thing they did with that masquerade costume, but I just felt like they could have emphasized a little bit more on that. The scene where they were already at the ball and they showed Joker Silva and Ajayi, I said, and I expected that those ladies would have spiced something into that conversation and be like, look at them wearing costumes, they do not even have any idea what it means. Just add some sauce into that. I mean, Jide Kosoko had mentioned it, Deyemi buttressed on it, but I just wanted it to feel like it adds so much importance, because masquerade in Yoruba lands means so much. It's like you are invoking a god. That's what it feels like, and they didn't really give that depth. I wanted more of that, but yeah, it wasn't so bad. The costume, I was talking about costume. The costume was good. The costume at every point was good. Where the white men were trying to be Yoruba wannabe and they were wearing ashoke, I mean, so they find themselves. So yeah, and it was okay, it was good. But guys, now let's go to things I did not like about this movie. It felt more like a stage play than a screenplay. Now I'm going to explain why. I already mentioned a lot of things that made it so wonderful. Now these are the things that I feel like I would love to see in a stage play. But in screenplay, I would want more depth because you're supposed to give us a cinematic experience, it is more now. It is not just on stage. It just did not have the depth for, screenplay. I felt like, in stage plays, you get to feel in a lot of things yourself. Yeah, they might be showing you one scene now, and in the next scene you get in the stage play, it's already like a week or 2 weeks after, like you get to feel in, oh, what action has happened from year to year. Do you understand? It is you that is feeling it in, or probably there's an orchestra that has told a little story as to why this is happening. If you read Aristotle, you will know that orchestra plays a very major role. The chorus, they basically tell you the story themselves. And I was hoping that even if they were not going to get more depth into storyline, orchestra would fill in, for them. But orchestra wasn't filling in that part in this movie, and the cast, they were not also filling. And I think the problem is, in adaptation, because this movie is an adaptation, right? In adaptation, you get to interpret this movie how you want it. Now, it should not lose its real source, its original source, but you can add to it and you can remove from it as long as the actual message still stands. So I was hoping that they will add, more depth into it. They would give it more flesh and bone so it could stand. It felt like it was shaking. Every other thing stood for it, but the story itself, the plot itself was not strong enough. And I think that was what it lacked. And the thing about movies, basically for the larger audience, is that when this movie is not, when it doesn't carry so much flesh, they are not going to care about what surrounds it. Do you understand? It's going to be just that story that, it was so lacking. Do you get? So, and that's the most important part. It has to have flesh. And that was just what it was lacking. Basically, that was what it was lacking. Now, there's been a conversation that I stirred up on Twitter. It has been going around, but I also did stir up a little bit of it when I asked that, how was it possible that Elesin Oba and the white guy could communicate perfectly without an interpreter? Now, a lot of people have been saying that the white men had learned Yoruba language while they were there because they've been living there for a while and all of that. That is possible, right? You can go to a place and learn their language. Even before you get there, you can learn the language. But let's note a lot of things. Now, this is the 1940s, right? There were not so many people that understood English language in the Yoruba land, except people that you sent to Europe to go and learn, and they would come back and become interpreters, or they interpret for them while they are there. That's one. Two, this man Elesin Oba was speaking thick Yoruba. Proverbs, ìjìnlẹ̀, àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀. That was what he was using. So I was shocked to see that the white guy, could understand everything perfectly. And Elesin Oba could also understand what he was saying perfectly. Now, it would have made more sense to me if either one of them tried to sneak in Yoruba or English while they were speaking. Now, for instance, the way Jide Kosoko was speaking, you would know that Jide Kosoko understood English and understood Yoruba. But we know Yoruba was his main language because of the way he spoke the English language in the movie. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that way we know that if the white guy is communicating with him, he understands what he's saying because he has learned the language. He can speak it now. He might not know how to speak it fluently, but anything that they are saying in line of communication, it flows. But this man, Elesin Oba, did not speak any English. We did not see at any point where he understood English language. Okay, let's say his son. But his son was not in town. His son was not interpreting for him. So where did the fluency come in? How did the fluency in communication? How did and let us also remember this is the 1940s where communication was still hard. Communication was still hard. If you read a lot of stories about those ages, they will tell you that a lot of interpreters even used to scam people because when one person, let's say Yoruba man says, Ori Eburu, if you want to interpret for the white man, you might tell you, oh, it says you look handsome. That breach in communication was still there. But in this movie, it's like they just carried and extradited and just threw it away. And a lot of people are saying, oh, they didn't need to interpret it for us because they could understand. And they already interpreted in this, in the transcription that we got on screen. I'm like, no, now. At least give us some credit. We're not babies. Guys, I think that was one thing that really pissed me off. It really pissed me off, honestly. Now, I understand that Elesin Oba felt like, he has betrayed his people, like he did not fulfill his promises. But I also feel like the blames, they were becoming too much. Like, bro, I'm not gonna arrest myself now. Why are you making it seem like I'm gonna arrest myself? It just felt like, I don't understand. Don't you get what's happening here? Why are you being super angry? I understand it delayed the passage of rights, it delayed things because he wanted to just enjoy life more. But you should pass on the blame to who the blame is due to. Maybe that way it makes more sense. I don't know if it's making sense. Anyways, I think that was my major problem in the movie. The communication that just went on like it was nothing, and the fact that the story did not have like a strong hold, basically. Those were the two things that bothered me the most. And I feel like these are very, very major parts of a movie that, we don't want anything to disrupt that. And that's why there's so much, anger on the internet. There's so much people saying a whole lot of things about the movie. I don't think it's a terrible watch. I do not think that you cannot sit through it. I sat through it. I wasn't bored at any point in time. I wasn't tired of it. I just wanted to see more. There's been so much expectation, and the fact that it is a Wole Soyinka story, that it is hard to interpret. It is very, very hard to interpret and understand it fully. The expectations are really high. They are really high, and it just didn't meet up to expectation, basically. I think that's just what it is. It didn't meet up to expectation. But it wasn't terrible. Should you watch it? I think you should definitely check it out so you can have, more to say about it. You can understand. And if you're somebody that appreciates Yoruba culture very well, I'm sure you're going to enjoy watching this movie because the dance, the music, the costume, everything was good, you know. So yeah, you could watch it. You're going to enjoy it, I think, but do not get your hopes high. Don't think you're going to be watching some really interesting and captivating and exciting story. It's just, a regular story with some great features. Yes, and I think that's basically it. I am going to rate it. What should I rate this? I was thinking a 5, but I'm torn between a 5 and a 5.5. Let's just give it a 5 basically, because I mean the errors, they were major. I think that's why it's going to get a 5. A 5 is fair. Yes guys, so I have come to the end of this review. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Tell me in the comment section, what did you think of Elesin Oba? I want to hear from you because I stirred up a lot of conversations on Twitter and I learned a lot in the process, honestly. And I just want to keep learning. And I want to read from you guys. I want to see what you guys think about it. And please don't disrespect these people in my comment section. They did a good job, right? They did a good job. It just wasn't good enough. That's what it is. And to the director of this movie, may his soul continue to rest in peace, Biyi Bandele. He has been an amazing person while he was on earth, and I pray that he enjoys his afterlife. And to Wole Soyinka that keeps giving us great, amazing literature, we hope that it gets more, even though I'm not gonna read them. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think in the comment section, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye.